Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrexit. Brexit England. I keep saying Brexit Britain, but obviously I actually mean Brexit England because it's the English. Yeah, well, the Scots hate the English so much because they're so damn racist that they want to get the hell away from us. And also, it is the place where we protect our war criminals. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all of your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So, we've got I don't know if you've seen this story with P&O Ferries, right, who have just sacked all 800 of their workers. Right? And I look at that story, I'm thinking to myself, well, what about that, yeah, surprises you? What surprises you about it? Because for me, nothing surprises me about that story. It's not a surprise, right? When you sell yourself out, right, this is the end result of it, where they just say, you know what, we'll just get it. Because you see, the working classes, yeah, are. I'm just thinking of a word that I could use for them. Cannon fodder. That's all we are. Because we're nothing in the great scheme of things. Yeah, to these people, we are nothing. Right? We don't even weigh on their Richter scale. They could put millions of us on that Richter scale, and we wouldn't even weigh in as far as they're concerned because we mean nothing. Right? Once you're talking about you're talking about big business like someone like P&O. Because remember P&O, yeah, they're based in Dubai. I believe they're probably owned by the Dubai government or whatever, But that didn't stop, the multi-billionaires that own that company, right, from collecting £15 million throughout the pandemic from the British taxpayer. For those guys who own P&O in Dubai, yeah, 15 million is absolutely nothing to them. When I say, I mean to those guys, it's absolute. Because those guys are multi-billionaires. So what would they care? I mean, if you think, yeah, that the Dubai Times, if they've got a Times, or the Dubai version of the Daily Mail, right, is blasting this company, right, in Dubai about this, because look, they're so far away from us, right, that our press can't even get to them. That's how far away they are from us, right? But this is what happens, right, when you sell your country out, right? When you allow, right, when because a lot of I believe, yeah, that a lot of these workers would probably be voting for the Tories, right? And looking at the situation and saying, well, we more respect, right, an individual, right, who gives the political party £1 million rather than, right, those stinking dirty unions, right, who want to go and give their money to the Labour Party, right, because because the Labour Party, they're run by the unions. That's what you've allowed them to do to you. All right, an individual. You put it this way, right? If I gave £1 million to a political party, and it would be the Tories, by the way, because if I was giving £1 million to a political party, right? Imagine if I gave it to a Jeremy Corbyn Labour Party, he'd probably just say thank you very much for the money, while I'm standing there saying, well, you gonna get me into the House of Lords? He's not even thinking about that. But the people who you vote for, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking, oh, if this guy gives me all this money, there are ways that I can help them out in the long run, and give them government contracts. Because what I tell you what, right? How stupid the English public are. How stupid and thick and racist. Because that's what this is all about. All of this, right, is about them making you look at me, right, while they're selling the country out, and filling their pockets in the meanwhile. Right. So they're making you fight that fight. Says, oh, look over there, look at those boats coming over. All these, people want to tear down tear down your good statues of people like Winston Churchill, who was a racist, dirty thug murderer anyway. Right. But that's what these people do. They point in other directions while they're selling you out. Right. Telling you, oh, well, the political parties being funded by unions is bad. It's terrible. It's bad. That's what they tell you. And you say, well, and if you ever thought about it, just for 1 second, logically, you say, well, so a union, right, who's got the interest of thousands of people, right, as opposed, right, to me, an individual who has got, let me just think, my interests, I'm giving them £1,000,000, the union's giving them £1,000,000, right? But the people of this country, especially England, seem to think, right, that the individual giving that union, giving that political party £1,000,000, they said, well, that's where we want to vote. We want to vote along with them. No, it's the reason why you're voting along with them is because of your racism. Because the Tories always say nice things to you about immigration. Always, haven't they? All these years they've been saying all these nice things to you about immigration, while they've been selling you the fuck out all the time. That's what's happened to P&O. It's just been sold out. Because I can guarantee you, right, to get P&O, sorry, to get P&O, right, in the position what it's in right now, I guarantee you there was some lobbying probably back in the 80s or the 70s or the 80s. There was some lobbying that's gone on. So that's why P&O can be in the position what it's in. Right? The head office in a complete different country, right? The ships, are run off some type of maritime law, right? Which means that a lot of the workers who work on their ships, right, who are non-English or non-British, right, they're not subject to the minimum wage. So a lot of them are working for because a lot of them are Philippines and all those type of things. But obviously they're working under the P&O flag, right? So now P&O have just decided to themselves, you know what, it's better because they said, well, we're losing £100 million a year or whatever. So it's better because all of this, all of this, I can guarantee you all of this, right, has got a Brexit flex on it as well. Because, P&O have been majorly affected, right, by the queues at Dover. The queues that you can see from the Google mapping, and that, that's a satellite, and you can see the queues, right, just as long as that queue of those Russian trucks, and that's 40 miles. And I believe our queues at Dover is longer than that, right? But, So all of these things, right, you've sold yourself out from way back when, right, allowing them, right, to let you believe that unions are bad. Unions are no good for you. They're bad for you. Why would a union want to help you? That's what they've convinced you. Right? And you see, you hear all these people, working class people, running down the unions. And I just look at them and think to myself, these people are so stupid. Right, they are so thick, but the racism, it clouds your judgment, and that's where you've always made your mistake. Right, you're looking at me and Asian people and people who speak in a foreign language, and that's where your fight is. You think, oh, well, that's where my fight is. Your fight's not with me. Your fight's not with people who speak a foreign language. Your fight's not with Asian people. Right, your fight's with people who are selling your country off, who have sold this country off, and they've done it right under your nose, and they've done it with your consent. That's why P&O can behave in this way. Okay, they can't behave. They couldn't behave in this way. Let me tell you this, right? I can guarantee you, in a world of Jeremy Corbyn, they couldn't behave in that way. That I absolutely guarantee you. But in the world of of Margaret Thatcher or Tony Blair, right, or David Cameron, right, or Boris Johnson. That's what these people can always do. because you've allowed big business, right, to be running this country. Right, and you see, when big business decides, actually, you know what, yeah, we don't really want to, we need to make some changes. Those changes always start with their working class staff, right, who have no power. Right? I've seen them. I've seen the P&O workers doing some type of sitting or something like that, and I've seen some people being escorted away by the police. But this is just like, thick off. I know the police wasn't Irish, but and yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and I should say, and I forgot to mention it yesterday, and I should say, top of the morning to all my Irish contenders, right? And it really does amaze me, yeah, how upset people are getting about this. I've seen them up there, save local jobs. Seriously, right? You people, right? You know what you are? You're late. That's what you are, right? You're late. Right? You've been sold out. All the industries in this country were sold out from how long ago? I mean, just look at the reaction, right? When you see, one of some workers say, we're going to take, we're going to go on strike, right? Look at the reaction of the British public. Instead of getting behind them and saying, well, you know what, these people are striking for a reason. They're striking because of their work. No, we're just, the British public is just like, you think they are? Get on with it, right? If you look, right, at the people, right, who look at the train drivers and say, well, why are they getting 45 or 50 grand a year? What do? It's all working class people. Right, it's all working class people who look at these people and say, oh, well, why? Right? Instead of saying, well, you know what, we should all support, as working class people, we should all support each other. That's how we should really be living. We should all be in support of each other. No. These guys much prefer to be fighting amongst ourselves. Right? Just what all these Tories have always wanted. Right? It's the other day, I heard one of the Tories just say, because they was talking about like the Russians and how much money the Tories have been given by the Russians, and someone said, well, why do they give you all this money? And one of them just said, well, it's because they like us. Well, that's the level of stupidity, right, that they put the British public down to. And as I tell you, right, it's because your minds are stupid and convoluted with racism, right, that you guys can't get past this shit. You don't understand how the world works, right? The world works, by sleight of hand, right? When they're telling you all this shit, right, all of it is just sleight of hand so that they can continue, right, just doing the bullshit that they've been allowed to get away with all these years. They've been allowed to just sell this country off, everything, no matter what it is. They've just been allowed to sell it off, right? That is why today P&O is in the situation that it's in. Right? That's the reason why. When they're saying to you, oh well, it's all Black Lives Matter fault. Right? It's just a way of distracting you. It's the red meat tactic. Right? We just throw them some red meat over here. Right? These people, they hate the Queen. Right? They're unpatriotic. Right? And if you get on with them, then you're woke. If you get on with them, you're woke. Right? And you're unpatriotic. You hate this country. That's what they'll tell you. That's why they've got all those flags behind them. Right? This is the reason why they do these things. They don't do these things by mistake. Right? P&O, haven't done this by mistake. Right? This has happened with P&O because they've put themselves in a position where they can do this and get away with it. Because today, the P&O head office. Do you think they're really any stick they're caring about? it's so far away from them, right? You know, it's not going to make their media that they've, you know, that they've sacked 800 people. That's not going to make their media over there. It's not going to make the media in Dubai. Right, so these guys are just going to ride the wave. They're not, you know, they're just going to ride the wave because, you know, because, you know, the working class worker, yeah, is just fodder. Not even cannon fodder, just fodder. Right, they just chuck you. They haven't even got the strength to blast you out of the cannon. Just fodder. Right, they just put you in the way. And that's it. Right, seriously. But, you know, and that they can, as I said, yeah, all of these things they can get away with, right? Because, you know, those boats, look at them. Look at those boats. Look at the jungle in France. All those people waiting to get over here, right, and take your job and stop you from getting into a hospital. And a hospital, they'll probably close down. You know, stop you from using, like, you know, all the bus services and all them things that, you know, bus services that they don't really spend too much money on, right? Or the trains that they haven't upgraded for how long? You know, all these companies in the hands of private companies. Right? You know, this is the reason why P&O, right, can get away with this shit, because, you know, it just comes down like everything else, right? Everything else, right? Now, right, you're going to have government ministers coming out and telling you how disgusting P&O are for behaving in this way. It's going to be all day. Right, it's even probably going to take some of the Ukraine stuff off the telly. Right, but it's going to be all day. They're going to be doing this all day. Right, and none of them, right, have got any compassion for the P&O. They're going to pretend they have, but they haven't really. You know, but this is Brexit Britain, and in Brexit Britain, right, companies are allowed to just do these type of things, to just walk all over their workers, right? And, you know, the real truth is there's nothing the government can do. There's nothing they can do at all. Right? These people are going to be looking to the government to help, but there's nothing they can do. Right? So, I mean, 800 workers, right? You know, they're losing 100 million or whatever. So 800 workers, right? You know, for them to compensate 800 workers is going to be a lot less than 100 million. You know, so that's where we are with P&O. Anyway, I wasn't expecting to speak about P&O for the whole 15 minutes that I was supposed to be on, but I did. So I've got to bow out of here now. Anyway, guys, I'm MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.